Hello, this is Sarah Braasch. Welcome back to my channel. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to be reading another character letter that was written by a Yale faculty member on my behalf in response to Yale Graduate School Dean Lynn Cooley's grossly false and defamatory charge against me of racial harassment. So this letter is from Yale Sterling Law Professor Alan Schwartz, whom I've known for, I think, almost the entire time I've been at Yale. I think it was during the first year, at the end of the first year, so it would have been spring 2015, when Yale Law and Philosophy Professor Scott Shapiro introduced me to Professor Alan Schwartz because he was looking for someone who could help him with some agent-based computational modeling and simulation. And so I had those skills, and so Professor Scott Shapiro put us together, and we just really hit it off, Alan Schwartz and I, and we worked together for years thereafter, and he was very pleased with my work. I created a computational model and simulation of a corporate control market for him, and he wrote, I think, more than one paper based on the work that we did together, and it was very fulfilling and rewarding, and we also became very good friends. And he is a wonderful and lovely man, and a brilliant man, and a brilliant professor, a brilliant scholar, and I'm so happy to know him. So, of course, he knows me, and he knows that I'm a lifelong human and civil rights activist, and he knows that I would never engage in racist behavior in a million years, and so he was very happy to write a character letter on my behalf after I was falsely accused of racism by the Yale administration. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and read the letter. So it's addressed to Dear Dean Slate. I believe it's Slate is how he pronounces it. This letter is a character reference for Ms. Sarah Braasch in connection with your letter to her of June 15th, 2018. That letter informed Sarah that the graduate school was initiating a disciplinary procedure against her in order to determine whether your conduct violated the graduate school's regulations for personal conduct, specifically Regulation 7, prohibiting harassment on the basis of race. While I cannot opine on the merits of this charge, I can say that it would be totally out of character for Sarah to harass or otherwise discriminate against anyone on the basis of race. I have known Sarah for almost 3 years. She was recommended to me for a project by Professor Scott Shapiro, one of her PhD advisors, because Scott represented she was very smart, gifted technically, and would work hard. She has been all of this and more. My project involved creating an original MathCAD program to simulate the market for corporate control. To develop this program, Sarah had not only to be familiar with the MathCAD program, but she had also to understand complex legal issues involving how corporate takeovers are regulated and complex economic issues about how the corporate control market functions. Sarah mastered legal and economic issues and wrote an original and successful program. Sarah and I became friends in the course of this work. We had many conversations about my project, her PhD project, and her ambitions for a life in academia. I have invited Sarah to my home, where she very much impressed my spouse, an emeritus medical school professor, and we have had coffees too numerous to count and lunches. I have formed my very high opinion of Sarah's character on the basis of this extensive evidentiary record. After a variety of early career explorations, Sarah came to see her vocation as the pursuit of social justice for discriminated against minorities and women. She went to a good law school at night, which I know to be a very difficult road to travel, in order better to serve disadvantaged others. As you can tell from her CV, she has spent years representing and assisting women, African refugees, and others who need her help. There is no indication in Sarah's extensive professional and academic experiences that she is biased against people of color or against anyone. Indeed, it was Sarah's concern for social justice that brought her to Yale. After much time in the trenches, she came to see that while she understood the legal rules and legal and social practices that a successful social justice attorney must master, she did not understand the deep basis of these rules and practices. It is this understanding, Sarah believes, that both will permit her to be a better practitioner and also a creator of better rules and practices to improve the lives of the less fortunate. As this short letter should make clear, Sarah devoted much of her past life and plans to devote her future life to helping women and disadvantaged minorities, both refugees and others who need aid. In my numerous conversations with Sarah that wandered from work, we discussed Sarah's plans. In those discussions, she has not once expressed a racist thought, but very much to the contrary, was illuminating and empathetic about the plight of groups that do not play a role in a corporate lawyer's professional life. I have been teaching for a long time, and I cannot recall having a student or student assistant who was more effectively dedicated to helping others of every race and religion than Sarah Braasch. She is a treasure Yale should strive to keep, not a troublemaker it should discipline. That one got me too. Sincerely, Alan Schwartz. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. So I will have a whole bunch of links below, including my PayPal me and GoFundMe links. So please support me as I continue to fight for justice. And remember, it's not just about me. It's not just about saving my life and career. It's about restoring civil liberties on college campuses across the U.S., including Yale, including due process and free speech. It's about stopping the moral outrage industry from getting one more innocent person killed, from driving one more innocent person to suicide. We are living in a moment of cultural insanity, but we are going to get through this if we stand together. You have to speak out for your friends. You have to stand up for your friends, because if you don't, it will be you next. I never could have imagined in a million years that something like this could have happened to me. I had dedicated my life to fighting against oppression in all of its many forms, including racism. If this can happen to someone like me, it can happen to you. It can happen to absolutely anybody. If we don't stand up for our friends, if we stand silently by when the moral outrage mob comes for them, including the cyber mob, you will be next. You will be next. We have to stand up for one another. Okay, stand with me as I continue to fight for justice. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for listening and for watching. Have a great night.